Stirrup-high heads of grass rose and fell before the driving wind like ocean waves, and the sorrel cut a wake through them in the general direction of the unseen fight. Finally, Hunter saw a break in the smooth green horizon and urged the horse off in that direction. Within 100 yards, the ground fell away into a deep hollow surrounded by low hills. Sheltered from the wind, stunted pines clung to the sides like the painted rim of a green bowl. At the bottom of the bowl lay a dead horse with a man huddled in the lee of its body. Reining up short, Hunter evaluated the scene with the eyes of a professional. The man on the ground laid his arm across the horse's back and fired a revolver twice toward a patch of boulders on the far side of the bowl. Almost at once, a plume of smoke spurted from a gap between two of the boulders, whipping to tatters in the wind before the boom of a heavy rifle reached Hunter's ears. Studying the ground, Hunter located 3 more riflemen in the rocks and guessed at a 5th man somewhere back in the trees to tend the horses. The man with the pistol fired again. All Hunter could see of him was a hat, the back of a shirt, and a set of the wide, hairy chaps that upland cowboys seemed to favor. The dead horse was lying on his rifle. His work with the pistol seemed more a gesture of defiance than anything else. Both the range and the odds were too long for effective shooting, and Hunter couldn't imagine why the men among the boulders weren't already spreading out to take him from the flanks. "It's not our business," he told the horse. The words failed to convince either of them. Leaving a lone man to face 4 rifles went against his grain, but he didn't know anything about the situation. The lone man might be a rustler or a killer, the others a posse trying to bring him in. From the high ground he occupied, Hunter was in a position to decide to fight either way. What he needed was an idea of which was the right party to join. Hesitating, he had let the sorrel drift nearer to the rim of the bowl. A puff of smoke from the rocks and the heavy hornet buzz of a bullet passing nearby showed him his mistake. He piled out of the saddle on the wrong side, giving the sorrel a sharp slap on the rump. Another bullet screamed by, closer than the first. Cursing his stupidity for being caught on the skyline, he threw himself flat on the dense carpet of pine needles and rolled for the cover of the nearest tree. Behind him, the sorrel screamed and reared, breaking back clumsily from the rim. Hunter twisted around to look, then ducked back as the trunk of his pine shuddered at the impact of a heavy lead bullet. In his brief glance, he had seen that the sorrel was bleeding, hurt, maybe dying. His own position offered little enough cover and nowhere at all to retreat. Even the shelter of the pine's slender trunk wouldn't last much longer the way things were going. His mouth a grim line, Hunter thrust the muzzle of his Winchester around the base of the tree and thumbed back the hammer. Whoever had started this little war, it was partly Hunter's now. 4 riflemen, he reminded himself. The black powder man seemed to be the most dangerous. He'd been the first to open fire at Hunter, and with surprising accuracy, considering he was shooting uphill from a fair distance. Holding a little low, Hunter sighted on the gap between the rocks. The barrel of a rifle eased into sight, and then something else. Part of a man's arm. Maybe a dark sleeve. Hunter squeezed the trigger. The deep boom of the Winchester came at the same moment the man below fired. Powder smoke burst from the rocks. Another powerful blow shook the pine, and yellow splinters split through the bark above Hunter's head. He levered another shell into the chamber as echoes of the shots died away. In the gap, nothing moved. The trapped cowhand had twisted around to stare at Hunter, his mouth open in comic surprise.